talk about that. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to take a look. We might have to put DOGE on Elon. You know what DOGE is? DOGE is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter.
Well, that's Donald Trump saying that, yeah, he'll have to take a look. He'll have to just take a little look-see at the concept of deporting Elon Musk, the guy who was his bestie, and now we have round 2 of the clash. It was one of the weirder things, as we discussed, that Elon would have gone as nuclear as he did with Trump, and Trump to have hit back, and then for it all to go kind of quiet for so long really irritated me. That's not normally how feuds go when you make such bombastic claims about one another, but it's back because of Trump's bill and it being terrible, and Elon Musk, as bad as he is, thinking it's terrible. Quick context, and then I'll show you what Elon's been saying and what Trump has been saying. Welcome, everybody, to the morning show. I hope you're doing wonderful. A lot to go through today. BBC reports U.S. senators have spent more than 24 hours negotiating amendments to a mega bill on tax and spending that appears to have stalled without enough votes to pass. So right now it's still in that crucial stage as they amend it before actually voting on it, because a lot of Republicans realize how disastrous this is. But my guess is they'll ultimately pass it because they're more scared of Trump than they are of their voters. They care more about Trump than they do about their own voters. Associated Press reporting a new analysis from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office found 11.8 million more Americans would become uninsured by 2834 if the bill became law. The CBO said the package would increase the deficit by nearly $3.3 trillion over the decade. So that part, the $3.3 trillion, is where Elon really comes in and takes issue with it. But unbelievable that you could somehow have something so fiscally irresponsible and kicking off people of their healthcare. So Elon is posting a bunch at all hours of the day and night about this bill, trying to kill it and speaking out against Trump over it, which is why Trump said that DOGE might become the monster that Elon created and eat him up. Now, what's interesting is, are you admitting it's a monster? Like, I don't really hear people use that phrase in a positive way. Like, oh, this police officer got in legal trouble. Now the police department's going to become the monster he created and they're going to hold him accountable. Like, that doesn't sound right, because normally when I say the Republican Party is being eaten up by the monster it helped to create or it enabled, I'm saying it's bad that they allowed for Trump to come into power, and that monster is now eating the Republican Party up, or Trump supporters of the monster that he created. But it's bad how he's facilitated this. Trump saying that seems to indicate that DOGE indeed is a monster and could eat Elon right out. I mean up. Elon Musk posted, if this insane spending bill passes, the America Party will be formed the next day. Our country needs an alternative to the Democrat Republican uniparty so that the people actually have a voice. This uniparty thing, dumbest concept ever. Just when people say that, you know they're being dumb.
I have become meme.
Yeah, or that. And this is, okay, so you know he did his little poll while during his first clash with Trump on X, where he said, how many of you would like a party that represents the middle? And it was like 80% of the people responded to the poll with yes. And that's a very online thing to think and say. It's very X, it's very Twitter to go, wait, what if Elon just created a third party, America Party? It's the middle, everyone votes for it, and we sing Kumbaya together, and we just have a good old time. But that's been suggested and tried many times. And the problem with our political process is not that we don't have moderate enough candidates. We have them already. It's that voters won't vote for them. And in many cases, depending on how you're defining moderate, that's perfectly reasonable that they don't, and they want something more aggressive. When it comes to the Republican Party and their extremism, it's very bad. And it's not like if there was the hunger for a more centrist party, which I don't even know what Elon Musk means when he says that, or a common sense party, then people would have just turned one of the two parties into that. And right now, there are, in my estimation, candidates within the Democratic Party who can check those boxes. So it's about using the structure we already have, at least for now, to get better people into power. And then once you had better people in power, if you wanted to make reforms that would allow for third parties to even systemically be more plausible, then that could happen. But Elon just launching America Party is not the solution to our ills. I hate to say it if that shocks you. JD became a member by clicking the join button on YouTube. I appreciate you. As always, while we're live, if you become a member, I will thank you. And everyone else, thank you for joining us in the recorded versions. Then you have Trump being asked, what happened to Elon Musk?
Elon Musk.
Who?
What happened to Elon Musk?
Nothing. No, he's upset he's losing his EV mandate, and he's very upset about things, but he could lose a lot more than that. I can tell you right now. Hey, Elon can lose a lot more than that.
That was kind of strange. Hey, wait. Hey, let me just repeat what I just said. He kind of had a build up like he was about to drop a bomb. Like what? Yeah, so those are the sort of threats that Trump is bringing up. He then wrote on Truth Social last night, or a couple nights ago, Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate. It is ridiculous and was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidy than any human being in history by far, and without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production, and our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have DOGE take a good hard look at this. Big money to be saved. Oh no. Now, here's what I'm rooting for. Can we all be honest? Last time it was statements like this from Trump that triggered Elon into going Epstein. So my hope is that he triggers Elon again to go back to that and to say, like, to repost those same posts and say, no, I take it back. And I should say, while I want that and I want this clash to go a lot for a while, I do acknowledge the principle of the president because of a personal clash with someone. Weaponizing their government power to punish that person because they had some sort of falling out is insane. It's insane. Am I going to cry myself to sleep because Elon's maybe going to lose subsidies? Probably even he won't, but no, of course not. But it is bad for the president to say, we had a personal falling out, so now I'm going to weaponize government authority to punish you because you're speaking out against me. That's a terrible authoritarian thing to do. Even when it's done to Elon, I guess. But please, Elon, he's saying he's going to come after your companies. Epstein. Or at least explain. This is what I want from Elon. Explain what happened. Why you flip-flopped. Because there's this weird yeah, he said those things, but ultimately we did some good things together and we had a good relationship and I'm sorry that we disagree over this bill. Like, that's kind of Trump's attitude. And he's escalating, but I've heard people word it this way with Elon. Either he lied about that claim, the Epstein files, or he is telling the truth and he was willing to work with somebody who did those things and had no problem with it until this bill. Like, yeah, pedo, okay, all right. Oh, pedo, and you're going to add a lot to the debt? Now that's bad. You could have one or the other, not both. So I really would love at least for him to follow up and explain himself on that. Were you lying? Or were you Are you now willing to stop talking about something that would be such a huge consequential claim? Elon then said it's obvious with the insane spending of this bill, which increases the debt ceiling by a record $5 trillion, that we live in a one-party country, the Porky Pig Party. Time for a new political party that actually cares about the people. Well, okay, I don't know if Elon Musk is the right person for that, given that he struggles to even act like a person. So representing people, I think, would be difficult for him. But interesting. He then said, every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame, and they will lose their primary next year if it is the last thing I do on this earth. He is so dramatic all the time. See, now we don't know if he means any of this. Tomorrow he might go, no, I went a little overboard. Never mind. I was just, you know what it was I try to stay away from ice cream. It gives me just terrible stomach pains. And to be honest, I have explosive diarrhea when I eat ice cream. But last night I legalized comedy. I ate an entire tub of ice cream.
Legalize comedy.
And so I've had explosive diarrhea for 10 hours, going on 11 hours now. That is why I sent out these posts about Trump. Like, he could, at any moment, flip around. But he is a dramatic one. Then he was posting grok. I mean, I agree, every single person, if it's the last thing I do on this earth, and I mean it, I'm going to keep speaking out against people who support terrible legislation. That's all I'm going to do. But it is terrible, and it should be his goal. My fear, though, is that he would pick even worse people somehow. But then he got grok to fact check the fact that undocumented immigrants, so he's demonstrating, I guess, the flaw in the Republican argument here, that undocumented immigrants don't qualify for federally funded Medicaid. So to use that as a red herring is an effort at distraction. Then he posted a little graphic. So now he's doing like memes and said, anyone who campaigned on the promise of reducing spending but continues to vote on the biggest debt ceiling increase in history will see their faces on this poster in the primary next year. And it's Pinocchio set on fire with the word liar, with the text voted to increase America's debt by $5 trillion, or 5,000,000,000. Is that another comma? 0,000. Nice. There we go. What's interesting is clearly he doesn't know anything about politics. This poster is a terrible poster. Everyone says they care, and they should care about the debt. Do you know who actually cares? Nobody. Vote. Not a single voter ever. Not literally, but you get my point. Went in and voted because of the debt, one way or another. Republicans are worse. Democrats haven't gotten under control. The way is not to keep cutting taxes for the rich. I can tell you that for sure. And we wouldn't be in the debt problem we're now if it weren't for the Republican tax cuts. But nobody cares. So a better poster would be liar voted to cut Medicaid and SNAP benefits. Like, that means more and matters more to people than just an absurdly large number on a paper. Because what is $5 trillion to anyone's brain? Nothing. It might as well be a gazillion. It might as well be zero. It might as well be anything. It doesn't really mean anything. Which is why you have to break this down a little bit more fundamentally. They do this numbers fear-mongering. You have to zoom out and look at the trajectory of debt to GDP ratio that we would have been on if it weren't for Republican tax cuts. And it wouldn't be the crisis that we're in now. So that you can kind of think, okay, I can't conceptualize what it would even look like to pay down our debt in a major way. What is it, 37 trillion or something? And so that's kind of a meaningless conversation about this big, scary number. But when you look at that ratio, you say, okay, we actually didn't have to we could get this back under control where the debt to GDP ratio is more reasonable, as it would have been if it weren't for Republicans. Deal Designs said, what a jerk. What a creep.
What a creep. What a jerk.
Ninja Bear became a member by clicking the join button on YouTube. I appreciate you so very much. And then, this is interesting. Hey, Elon's a creep and a jerk, but he's right here. Grok was fact-checking someone and confirmed that the bill takes away from the poor to give to the rich. And Elon posted that going, I think is the sound that emoticon makes. And it's true. Then Michael Thomas said another big statement against the Senate bill. The trade union representing 860,000 electrical workers says the bill will cost hundreds of thousands of good-paying construction jobs. I hadn't seen the statement reported anywhere else. It's just, I don't even understand. My brain is struggling to get around how they crafted something this terrible. And then we check in on Mr. Villain. Mr. Sexy, actually, people call him. They say, they do those polls of like American women, and people will be surprised that like the quote unquote dad bod will poll better than like a jacked guy to a lot of women. And it's like, what? That's so counterintuitive, Do they mean that? I don't know. Maybe. But what's interesting is if you look at polls and you poll Bannon, this is a real stat, 100% of American women find Steve Bannon sexy. Is that 100%? It's pretty incredible.
We're going to get him over and do something a little different, I think, that other shows have done, which I've been spending the afternoon talking to certain officials, that the CBO, and I think this is very important for the audience to understand, because Elon Musk is out, and he's, not that I told you this was going to happen, but he's out lighting up the president and lighting up MAGA, and claiming that it's time for a third party, and that this is, he calls it, I think, in all his maturity, the Porky Pig bill. He's going on about the spending, hammering it, and this is what galls me about this. This was the guy that told the president he was going to get $2 trillion of waste, fraud, and abuse cuts. Then he backed it off to $1 trillion, and this was on an annual basis. This wasn't over 10 years. This was $1 trillion because we asked him. I made sure the question was asked very specifically, and he said it over and over again: $1 trillion. And at the end of the day, I don't know, folks. I know some of you fanboys said we got 160, but we haven't seen the $160 billion. What we do is have a $9 billion rescission, and all of that is programmatic. I haven't seen anything specifically fraud and abuse put forward from the Pentagon or anywhere. So,
yeah. Interestingly, Elon's making the better points about the bill being terrible, but Bannon made a correct point there about Elon going into the White House saying we're going to find, which, you know what's annoying? None of them ever go, hey, like, I feel like we'll go, Mr. Elon, Mr. Bannon, Dumpy Wumpy, Mr. Trump, I don't think you're going to find $1 trillion of fraud. And they'll go, shut up, stab, 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 shut up. And then I'm bleeding and I'm bloody. I go, okay, I'm sorry. They go, bah, and I fall down on the ground. And then I'm laying there. Podcast listeners, that's blood coming out of me. No. Tell my mother I love her. And my dad too. And then they go walk Oh, so they leave the stabbing and the attack of me. They walk over, and then they look around. They go, I don't think there's $1 trillion of waste, fraud, and abuse. I don't think we've even found $1 of, maybe, I think they found marginal, as you would expect in any big organization, fraud, and definitely waste, okay? But nothing like what they promised. And so my question is, I'm bleeding on the street. Will you not walk back over and go, hey, buddy, let's patch you up. You were right. I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we're over here and we go, oh, wait, I think Trump's going to cut Medicaid, Trump supporters. And they all just jump up, like picture me walking to like a Trump boat parade. And I walk up to like a group of, like a gang of MAGAs, and they're standing in a circle. And I'm like, hi. I don't know why this is my voice, but I think it fits. I think that Trump's going to cut Medicaid. And they're like, shut up, you F-slur. You probably are a loser who is gay. And then they start kicking and punching and kicking and throwing rocks at me, metaphorically. And they're like, you suck. You just don't like Trump. You hate him. You have Trump derangement syndrome. You probably just want everyone in this country to be a drag queen. And you are so stupid and gay. And just punching and punching. And then you walk away. Again, I'm saying, like, in every social conversation I have, that's the feeling I get. And they're like, you just hate America. You just hate America. That's why you're telling me this about Trump. And then he puts the bill to cut Medicaid. It's like, guys, come. Are you going to come back and apologize? Or, like, unite with us? Or are you just going to keep shifting the goalposts? Because I know during the campaign, if I had told you Trump would try to cut nearly $1 trillion, we're up to $930 billion. $1 trillion, I think is fair to say, from the Medicaid funding, Medicaid SNAP, you would have said, yeah, that's most like working class MAGA voters would have said, no, Trump would never do that. And would probably have agreed, now they won't agree, but they would have agreed back then, probably, that that's a deal breaker for them. But now that's what he's doing. And I can't control that, and I'm not mad at you. I am. I'm really mad, actually. I heard myself say that. I'm like, wait, no, I'm like so mad at you. You stabbed me and you kicked me, metaphorically. And I just want you to come and at least acknowledge that maybe you overreacted when you said we hated America because we thought Trump kind of sucked. I feel like that's kind of fair. The vicious Kamala just wants transgender surgeries for everyone in preschool. She says she wants free preschool. Really? I think she means free preschool trans surgeries. That pedophile, pervert, groomer. You know how often I would be like, hey, I think we should vote for, back when it was Biden over Trump. Trump's terrible, threatens democracy, bad economic plan. Biden, really old, has some issues, got some really great policies through, handled the economy pretty well. Let's vote for Biden. Right? That, like that. And the response from MAGA was, you groomer pervert. Hey, everyone. I'm just here to say I would love if we could have more coverage with healthcare. You want to have sex with kids. You freak. And it was like, what? And just every Democrat. You remember Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, the Democratic Party is the party of pedophiles. Just brutal stuff. Because we said, I think Trump kind of sucks. And now, have we not been proven correct? Are you going to tell me, MAGA voters, that you trust Trump more than just looking at the numbers of this bill? That will take from the poor. Grok says it. Elon says it. You could put it into other AI things. You can look at the numbers yourself. And you'll see it reduces wealth for the poor and gains wealth for the rich. Was the whole party of pedophiles thing really that necessary? What if for 2 seconds we stopped thinking about the person's genitalia in the stall to our left and think a little bit more about getting that person health care or getting you health care? Maybe you don't want that person to have health care. It seems really that simple. Who is this guy? Eric Schmidt. What is he? Who are you? Why is he on my screen? Eric Schmidt. He is a United States senator. Good for him. Republican senator. And people posted this clip because he is really hyped about cutting. I think I saw someone describe it as, it's strange to see someone this giddy about ripping away food and health benefits from folks. Look at this.
All right, about ready to walk into the Senate chamber for the big, beautiful bill, Vote-A-Rama. Welcome to Thunderdome.
So cringy. Welcome to Thunderdome.
What a joke.
Yeah. Welcome to the. By the way, he coaches Pee Wee football. He could put, and he swears so much. Like, growing up, if any of y'all played football or sports, and have you ever gone back to a game and saw what you looked like? Like, once I grew up, I saw a game of, how early? Like, we were 3rd grade when we started, something 4th graders playing football. It's like their helmet's as big as them and they just bump into each other and fall over. And at that age, you would have dads, not my dad, but you would have dads screaming viciously, "You pansy! You queer!" They'd scream this at you. And other other swear words that I won't use on the show. You're gonna effing be somebody's bitch. It's like, whoa. And in the moment, you're like, yeah, this is what changed to be a man. Okay. Ooh. And then you grow up and you see how little they are, and you're like, what? They were screaming at those kids like that? That's crazy. That's crazy. And Eric Schmidt does that. He screams like borderline racial epithets at little kids at Pee Wee football games. Does he do that? I don't know, but he does. Look at him. I'm just going off of how he looks. And welcome to Thunderdome. You know he plays before the game the what is it? Thunderstruck. Ay, thunderstruck. And he goes, boys, they don't make music like they used to. Cardi B doesn't compare to this. Thunderstruck. Yeah. And then he screams. And moms in the audience have to go down and say, Eric, I know that you're not fulfilled in your job right now because you're having to be, well, Trump's. But you have to stop taking out on the kids. You're yanking them by their helmets. You're screaming at them. You're saying that you're saying that they're gonna get divorced and their wife's gonna think they're ugly if they don't catch the ball. This is too much, Eric. Eric, this is too much. It needs to stop, Eric. Anyway, so none of those, I don't know if any of that happens with him, but he gives me those vibes, is the point, in case you missed that. In case you missed that, oh gosh, John Fetterman. Speaking of people who give the vibe of someone who would shout at little kids on a football field, John Fetterman, he's really, in many ways, been disappointing in the Senate. was very excited about him during his campaign. But here, this part, it's not that big of a deal. It's fine. But it just comes off a little bit out of touch. He's like, guys, I missed my family at the beach. Let's get this whole voting thing done with. I got to get back to the beach.
Did you get any clues on the floor about what time this might wrap?
Oh my God! I just want to go home. I've already I've missed our entire trip to the beach. My family's going to be back before we that. So and again, I'm going to vote no. There's no drama. The votes are going to go. In fact, the only interesting votes are going to be on the margin, whether that's Collins or Johnson and those. But all the Democrats, we all know how that's going to go. And I don't think it's really helpful to put people here till when some ungodly hour. And again,
thank you, sir.
That's funny. My family, I already missed my family at the beach. What the hell? I want to be, do you know what I look like in a Speedo? You don't think I'd wear a Speedo. I wear Speedos. I'm John Fetterman. I wear Speedos. Do you know what it's like to feel the sand on your toes as you lather yourself with a gallon of sunscreen? Where your whole body just has a nice white tint to it? As you put a shirt over your eyes and suntan? And your kids come up and they say, Dad, let's go in the water. And you act like you're asleep so that they won't bother you? Do you know what that's like, Mr. Reporter? Because I missed that because of being here doing my job. Yeah, well, first of all, I get what he's saying, like voting all the way through the night. Now they're 24 hours going. I get that's brutal. But this is your chance. Don't do the whole, all right, let's just move past this whole yelling at each other, amending it, and let's just vote and get it over with. If it's going to pass, it's going to pass. No, this is your chance to make a stink. Keep proposing. Keep trying to get them to vote on taking out the bad parts, and then you can keep pounding them and pounding them and pounding them over it. It should have been 24 hours of pounding, John. That's my advice. You don't have to take it. It's my advice. I'm sharing it with you. And now we have this. Well, quickly, Michael Ken Boyle became a member by clicking the join button on YouTube. I appreciate you. Quickly, if you'll put up the live show graphic, we are now just days away from our live show in Austin. Yes, stop it. It's going to be great. Linked in the description below. You can go to lukebshow.com/live. I'll be meeting all of you. Very pumped. And it's been so cool to see all of the ticket sales so successful, like nothing anyone's ever seen. Wow. They said, Luke, we're gonna have to get a separate building, a whole nother building just for you. Wow. I'm gonna when nerds have nightmares said, I'm gonna encourage CBC, give us your 5. No, I'm amending that.
Clean, beautiful coal.
You can give us your favorite 2 right now, or give us the 2 new ones.
We weren't just taking up space, we were making space.
Yeah.
You're Willie Nelson High.
There we go.
You're smoking some of the best dope God ever put breath in.
There we go. So Trump fragrances are here. Trump, who notoriously smells bad, is selling fragrance, which I can't tell if that's fitting or a contradiction. Is it like, wait, if you knew things about scent, you would smell good, so why would we buy your fragrance? Or is it you smell bad, so you're creating a solution to a problem that you experience, right? Like, I have a product coming out. I told the bonus show audience. I'll tell everyone else pretty soon. And without saying what it is, I already got in trouble for leaking it to the press. But it is something that I needed. Right? I needed it, so we created it. Similarly, maybe Trump just needed to smell better because he's stinky. And so he created his fragrance. Another way to make money off his followers. They're called Victory 4547 because they're all about winning, strength, and success for men and women. I want to meet a woman. I want to meet a woman who wears this fragrance. Oh my gosh, I want to meet a woman who wears this fragrance. That's men out there, men who date women, listen up. If you are at a bar and you're talking to a chick and you go, that smells like a nice blend of bronzer, ketchup, and poop. Ask them, is this Victory 45-47 because it's all about winning, strength, and success? Oh, yeah, it is. You put a ring on that finger. Okay? If you smell this fragrance on a woman, that's a woman. That's a woman. That's worth keeping. And by that, I mean run as far away as possible, okay? That's crazy. I saw that Jaden sent me a screenshot of one of the comments someone left on this announcement about Trump's fragrance, and it's someone being like, all right, we're selling a little too much merch. Like, all about that merch game or whatever, or branding, but it's a little much. Dear President Trump, one of his fans writes, first, let me say, I'm a proud supporter and deeply appreciative of your leadership, your strength under fire, and your unwavering stand for America first values. I voted for you and continue to believe you are the right man to lead this country through these turbulent times. That said, I write to you today not out of criticism, but out of concern. I've watched with growing discomfort the steady stream of branded merchandise being promoted under your name, from sneakers and t-shirts to gold sneakers, guitars, and now Trump fragrances for men and women. With all due respect, sir, this feels beneath the dignity of a man who holds the highest office in the land. It's not about capitalism or promotion. It's about perception. These constant product launches don't project strength, focus, or leadership. They risk turning a powerful political movement into a storefront brand. If you can just put me up, Jane. Thank you. And to many Americans, even your supporters, that comes off as sad and cheapens both your legacy and the office of the President of the United States. I will stop there, but you get the point. You get the point. Good for John Russell Allen for at least saying that. Okay, let's move on to this. Trump is going to visit Alligator Alcatraz, they're calling it, which is a deportation camp. And the way they're making all this pomp and circumstance around it is so gross. The name alone surely wasn't enough to lure Donald Trump to Florida, says CNN. Surely was enough. That really changed the meaning. It was. The president heads to Alligator Alcatraz on Tuesday. The evocative name refers to a detention, processing, and deportation camp for undocumented migrants that sprang up in a blink of an eye in the middle of the Everglades. So I saw a while ago DeSantis doing a tour with Ducey. Steve Ducey, Peter Ducey, Doug Ducey, who knows? A Ducey. It's Steve Ducey. But they did it like they were going to a new theme park or something. It's so gross. Like, people are being detained here and then deported, and it's like, look at this. We're going to have over here porta potties, and over here showers. And Steve Ducey goes, how do you even get that many bathrooms here, like, quickly? Wow. What are we doing? This is weird. Watch.
So, I mean, this is going to be, illegals will come in, they'll be processed, there'll be places for them to be housed, you'll have an ability for food, you'll have an ability for them to consult legal rights.
Yeah, a detention facility. What are we doing? And he speaks so weirdly, and I'll have food, and just put some resonance in your voice. It's up here, right? Up here. I know it's there. Get some of this. They'll have food. If you want to be president, DeSantis, you're not going to do it by, I'm standing here for my inauguration. It's just not going to work. You sound like an adult performing as a kid. But again, this is serious. It's like they're making, it's kind of like the Dr. Phil going out on the deportation raids. It's mediaifying and trying to get clicks out of the suffering of folks. Are there going to be people in this facility who deserve deportation? Probably. Now, they have a really bad track record with that as of now. So it's not to say you can never deport anyone, they can't ever be held anywhere. It's just the romanticizing of it's very strange. They'll have food and bathrooms, and they'll talk to their lawyer.
I mean, this is going to be, illegals will come in, they'll be processed, there'll be places for them to be housed, you'll have an ability for food, you'll have an ability for them to consult legal rights if they have that, because there is a process that's involved with this. So this is really everything. This is going to be a self-contained little area. And then, of course, you also have stuff for the staff that work here. So we've got laundry facilities, we've got showers, we've got obvious.
What? Yeah, we know. We know. Like, you know, a jail has. You know, it's like it's a one-stop. It's sort of just like a one-stop shop. You got a bathroom, you got a food, you got a bed, you got a shower. It's really just because there's a process. He's like, you're not reinventing the wheel, baba. But they are trying to make it seem like, ooh, Alligator Alcatraz. What does that even mean? What, do they have alligators? This is just weird and insane. Now, watch here how long Steve Ducey's arm is like floating up. Like he's getting ready to say something, but DeSantis won't stop talking, so his arm's just like jutting out. Watch.
This is really everything. This is going to be a self-contained little area. And then, of course, you also have stuff for the staff that work here. So we've got laundry facilities, we've got showers, we've got, obviously, there you see the...
That's insane.
Shower and bath facilities.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Where do you go to get a bunch of bathrooms like that?
Well, so this is being done by the Division of Emergency Management. So when this...
Trump's breaking the law with some of his deportations. And he's asking, how do you get bathrooms like that? Look, that's what we're curious about. What about, hey, will the people who are being held here be afforded due process? No. How do you get bathrooms?
Right there.
Yep.
Where do you go to get a bunch of bathrooms like that?
Well,
hey, literally Google it. Like have you ever been to a music festival? Like it's very easy to order up bathrooms. It's really actually pretty simple. Well, Trump's going to visit Alligator Alcatraz. Maybe DeSantis will give him a tour too. But here's what he has to say.
And with the Alligator Alcatraz, it's the idea that if some illegal immigrant escapes, they just get eaten by an alligator or a snake or something?
I guess that's the concept. This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If snakes are fast, but alligators are, but we're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%. Okay? Not a good thing.
You see what I mean? Is it that we're saying deportations are never needed? No. We think that you should just have rights and process and due process. But is there something fundamentally inhumane about the president standing on the White House lawn pontificating about how undocumented immigrants, if they try to escape, will be eaten by alligators? And talking about, well, snakes are faster. Who even brought up snakes? What are you saying? Like, are we doing the moat thing again that Trump wanted to do at the southern border? Trump wanted to put like a huge moat across the entire southern border, which is long. It's really, really long. I think he also said like snakes and alligators and stuff. Same guy who said, can we nuke a hurricane? So and now he's saying, oh, we're going to do alligators. I don't even know what they mean. I haven't seen the facility, so I don't know if... Maybe I'll hit up Ron. Ring. Ron? It's Luke. Luke Beasley. Oh, you don't know who I am. Well, I have said some really terrible things about you. I think they're justified. Like, why'd you rub your booger on that guy? Oh, like a nose problem. No. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, Ron. That's disgusting. No. Okay, that's a whole side point. But I'm sorry. Would you take me on a tour of the new camp? Yeah. Okay. I just want to see. I'm trying to get clarification. Are you doing like a moat or something? Why is it called Alligator Alcatraz? Okay. Wait. Sorry. Before you answer that, if I go, will you show me the bathrooms? You will show me the bathroom. All right. Well, scratch the whole moat thing. I just want to see the bathrooms. Goodbye. Very weird. Why is Alligator Alcatraz named that? Let's see what it has to say. The nickname is given to a migrant detention center being built in the Florida Everglades because of its location in a swampy area known for alligators. And because it's intended to deter escape. Okay. So maybe there are actually alligators just around in the area if it's in a really swampy area. Which, good for y'all, you know. I think about this whenever I'll visit in Louisiana, and there's some places, if I'm thinking correctly, the Bayou. And I'm like, wow. I can't speak to your life, and I love everyone's choices. Swamp life is not for me, is all I can say. That became very clear very early. Like before I figured out anything sexually, I knew swamp life was not for me. Pretty early on. Oof. Here is Republican Senator John Kennedy speaking about the bill.
You're Willie Nelson High.
That one. And he has a new saying for us.
And that's all it says, $1 billion to be spent, period. Now, I have been told that the Secretary of Energy and the Secretary of the Interior are going to decide in their unfettered discretion who's going to get this money in the private sector. And they are both two good men. I know that both of those secretaries, I voted for them. They are total ballers.
Don't say ballers. First of all, it can barely come out of your mouth. Balls. That's what it sounds like. Balls. It sounds like you're saying total balls. So just chill. Or stop using the fake accent you use. One or the other. But also, ballers. I'm not one of those people that says you can't say, well, there's something you can't say, but you can't say this or that because if you're not this identity, except for some exceptions. But I do think that if John Kennedy says ballers, it's racist. No, I'm kidding.
Both of those secretaries, I voted for them. They are total ballers. I love them.
Ball. Why can't he enunciate? Sorry.
Death. But when I'm in Washington, I live by this adage: trust in God, but tie up your camel. Trust in God, but tie up your camel. This bill will say they can give these gifts and grants to whomever they want, but Congress has to approve them. Now, about, an hour ago, I got a call from one of my supporters, Mr. President. And you know what he said to me?
He said, trust your mommy, but kill the horse in the backyard, is what he said.
He said, Kennedy, for your own good, you need to pull down this amendment. You have to pull down this amendment. Kennedy, for your own good, you have to pull down this amendment. And you know what I told him, Mr. President? I said, Scooter, there are only two things I have to do in this world. Be cool and die. And I'm not pulling down this amendment. It wasn't right when it was done in the prior administration.
He is going to vote to take away health care from millions of Americans. No amount of, Scooter, I gotta be cool, gotta get high like a bye. Have you ever been to a swamp, Looky Pookie? What you learn is that you could trap an alligator, but you can't teach it to bite. Blah, blah, blah. None of that is going to change the fact that he is not aggressively railing against ripping away healthcare from millions of Americans. That's why he does this whole shtick, which honestly, sometimes it's kind of cute, and I don't like it that I like it, but I do. But still, it's a shtick nevertheless, and it often can serve to like cutify something that's so serious.
It's not right now that we're in charge. This is Congress's job, and by God, we ought to do it, and I reserve my time.
Okay, we're smiling, we're having fun, it's so cute. Oh, John, yay, get it? Because he has an accent, and then he does funny things like avocado toast eating, latte drinking soy liberals who have 3 different pronouns. Like, or you could just set aside for a second the adages and the mannerisms and just soberly analyze what it is that your party's doing to America right now. Now, let's get back to that subject, but I really want to cover this. And the show is not close to over. We can go as long as we want. But I want to make sure that I don't end the show without getting this. Then we'll get back to the bill stuff. Which, by the way, can we just quickly trust in God but tie up your camel? That's not even a good one. Like, I gave him credit on the I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but the dumbest person in the world better not die. That's funny. Because you kind of go, like that's kind of, it takes you on a little bit of a journey. Whereas trust in God but tie up your camel is just kind of, okay. You don't have, what? Who even has camels here in America? But it could get worse. It could get worse. 5th grade girls could try to murder you. And that's what happened in this next story. The Independent reports disturbing details have emerged about a group of 5th grade girls. What age are you at 5th grade? You're like 5 in kindergarten, right? 6, 7. So you're like 10? Is it 10-ish? Let's say 10-ish. And they're concocting a plan to murder one of their classmates, a boy. And the reason might surprise you. So 5th grade girls who are accused of plotting to murder a boy in their class and make it look like suicide. 10-year-olds. Where do they even learn this? 4 students at Legacy Traditional School in Surprise, Arizona, were accused of planning to lure a fellow 5th grader to a bathroom, stab him, and forge a suicide note to make the killing appear self-inflicted. But the plot to just end him. That's a quote from a 5th grader. I think you think this is a quote from a 5th grade girl saying, we're going to just end him. This is scary, and he survived and they didn't stab him. But wow, it's funny too. Something is really funny about this, and terrible and tragic. And you know how like the pre-crime stuff just doesn't make any, you get into weird territory when you start trying to predict who's going to do crimes and you like pre-punish them for them. Impossible. But I think we can just go ahead and lock these girls up forever, right? Normally I'm all about reform. Can you reform someone who at 10 was plotting and was smart enough to know you would have to get a suicide note and they planned to wear gloves? Where are they? This is what happens when you let little kids watch TikTok. I've been telling you on the show, it's not good. It's not good, I said. I said it. I said it's not good to have little kids who can barely see straight. I don't know what that means. Do kids have bad vision? I don't know. But you get my point. They don't even know their freaking left hand from their right hand. There we go. And they have humongous phones, and parents go, oh, instead of actually spending time, which I know is a lot of effort, or encouraging them to do things actively, I'm just going to hand them a phone and they'll be entertained and I can not worry as much.
This is Tic Tac.
And then they watch Tic Tac. And do you know what happens? Every single one of those kids ends up trying to kill their schoolmate. Every kid who watches TikTok before the age of what? Should we do 13? I don't mind the idea of like 16. Where was it? Somewhere banned usage of social media by kids up to a certain age. Maybe 13? Once you're a teenager, then you can ruin your entire mind. Everyone shouldn't be trying to be an influencer. I am one. As much as I hate that word. But everyone shouldn't be trying to like do this. I always love that when I rage about social media because it's like this inherent contradiction. I'm like, stop worrying about social media, but watch me here on social media. Do that first and then stop. But like, I'm the good kind. But everyone should just quit it. This should be your daily routine. You read, and then you watch this show only. And then you look at written news, and then you have a good life. Then you go outside. So, because otherwise your kids are going to try to kill their ex-boyfriend. Oh, what? At age 17? No, at age 10. I didn't even know you had my relationships in like elementary school. I did get married like multiple times, actually. And now, you know what? When one of the girls that I got married to at recess ended our marriage, I did have a plot. I did think about crafting like a plot like this. So maybe these girls aren't as crazy as I think. Throw away the key. The students, 2 10-year-olds and 2 11-year-olds, talked about how they would wear gloves to avoid leaving fingerprints. Roles were assigned, including someone to stand guard. Okay, whoever the head, the ringleader, the suspected ringleader. This article's so funny because it specifies their kids up here, but then it goes on to describe it like it's just adults. The suspected ringleader, a girl who had reportedly been in a relationship with the intended victim, told others she hid him after he cheated on her and wanted him dead. According to the police report. Cheated on her? But let me just say, these 5th graders are clearly diabolical and dangerous. But very smart. They planned to have someone on watch, gloves, suicide note. I'm sure they had a knife lined up. They had a knife guy, and they're either going to be in prison, in and out of prison for the rest of their life, or like a billionaire. You know what I mean? Like, you channel that focus and that intelligence. At 5th grade, I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to murder. I mean, they failed, but they're close. I didn't even have the intelligence to think of such an elaborate plot. So they're either, again, going to be in prison or they will be very successful. And this will just be like a funny story they tell. The suspected ringleader, yeah, so I guess the guy cheated on her. What does that mean? Like he held hands with somebody else? All 4 students were arrested on charges of threatening and disorderly conduct. Some of them show remorse. I think the ringleader was like laughing through the interrogation. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You go to school, you become a detective, and you're picturing like getting Dahmer to crack, and then you're sitting across a coffee in front of a 5th grader, and she's sitting there with pigtails, and you're like, "Did you do this?" And she's like, "Ha ha 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 ha. Did you do this?" And you're like, "What? Where did my life go wrong? How am I here?" Oh gosh. Parents of the accused students did not respond. And apparently the way that they stopped this plot was the girls were overheard by someone else plotting it, and the person told the necessary authorities. G. Paul, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Ayla said, please cover canceled elections in Miami. I will. Wow. Country Kate said, John K. made me want some Redenbacher popcorn. Nanit Snowden has been a member for a year, saying happy Canada Day. I hope Elon spills the beans on the 24 election. Love you, lads. So much love. Someone else said 24 hours of pounding. I don't know to what that is referring. A right-wing account, Libs of TikTok, one of the biggest and most terrible. I saw a bunch of people talking about this. They were like angry at Biden. New first class, leave him alone. Y'all did it. Y'all did it. It's done. You did it. You defeated him. Leave him alone. Unless you have a book to sell. New first class passenger alleges that American Airlines bumped him to make room for Joe Biden. And then they attach a photo. And I don't want to give them advice, but before I show, you are so bad at this. It's like some of the videos they would post of Mamdani. I'm like, there's real criticisms of Mamdani. Him like looking hot in an apron is not the way you're going to convince people to not like him. Okay. So anyways, similarly, Biden, I just got totally distracted about the apron. Poof. I didn't realize aprons are they're adorable. So that's something to take note of. If you'll jot that down, Jaden, that would be great. So they attached a photo that just makes Biden look like a sweet man. That's the funny thing. Plenty of criticism of Biden. Him riding first class is not one of them. And they took a photo of him seemingly writing a note on like a kid's birthday card or something. And reading something about Irish. Of course, how the Irish saved something. I'm sure that's like the most famous book ever. And how do you not know that book, Luke? I'm so sick of that. Luke, this is the foremost authority on systemic racism. How did you not know that? Annals, history. Karen Reed. Let's just throw them all out. Yeah, so they took a photo of him and he's writing a card of some kind, like one of those Hallmark cards, and it's like a kid cartoons, and it's clearly for some kid in his life, and he's writing it and maybe asleep at the same time, as he is taking a little break from reading his book. That's sweet. And also, what do y'all expect him? Yeah, you know what? Let's go and coach, Biden. Go and coach. You think you're really an everyman? Go and coach. See what it's like. See what it's like. See what it does to your knees. Let's see. See what it's like whenever... Go fly Spirit Coach. Okay? See what it's like whenever you want a tray table, but instead you get a tray slit. They can barely fit one thing of water on it. See what it's like, Mr. Former President. Sure. See what it's like when it doesn't feel like the flight attendants ever come back to your seat. Never. Can I get my complimentary snack? Shut up. You're poor. See what it's like, Joe Biden. Oh, you did the train? Now it's time to do the plane. I wanted, despite the fact that I thought former presidents all flew private because, like, security, obviously, he's flying on a normal plane. That by itself, flying commercial is crazy. It's crazy. So if you're going to do it, just do it all the way, I guess MAGAs are saying. Just go on only Spirit now, and only the planes that have the tiny tray table, and you have to ask for a meal. Get a meal. Get like a chicken thing. and just see what it does to your bowels. Just see what it does to your bowels when you eat a chicken parm that has been frozen for 6 years. See what it does. And then come back and tell us about how you love planes. No, of course he should be flying private, first of all. just so that the security debacle doesn't have to happen. I mean, imagine him walking. Imagine you're sitting in coach and you're like, oh my gosh, oh, that's funny. That guy looks like Joe Biden. Hey, move over. I got a mint. You want to try? I'm really hungry. Have you tried the chicken parm? Oh goodness. Hey, where's Jill? I think Jill's sitting in first class. Listen. 1 second, I'm gonna go do something funny. Let me see. Listen, folks, this is your pilot speaking. No, it's Joe Biden. It's Joe Biden.
It's Joe Biden.
There we go. Wow. That would be a crazy experience to stumble across that. I guess I have to stop, don't I? I have to stop. I don't want to, but I'm going to. I appreciate all of you. I'll talk to you next time.